Greetings, my YouTube friends. My sincere apologies. It has been quite a long time, but I'm here today to show you my setup in this Gillio Slim Compagna. Now it is in Croco Rosewood. I double checked on the invoice. I wasn't 100% sure. I'd forgotten completely, but anyway. I've been in bound planners for quite some time now, so there was something that was pushing me to go back to rings. I did have a bit of a sojourn in rings last year. I recall my son was leaving to live overseas for a number of years, and I really needed a distraction. So I think I set up my Pocket Miyakara, and I think it was, can't remember. Anyway, I know I did do something like that, but it didn't quite work, and I sort of knew the reason why, and you know, I had been thinking I might buy one of these, and so I did, and I actually really am quite liking it. The other thing that I want to say just before I begin is that I've always had my personal and professional lives together in the one planner. This now is an attempt to separate personal from professional, and I think it's actually going to work out quite well. So let's have a bit of a dive in. So I am using this as my wallet as well. My apologies for the glare. I've done this so many times today. I just need to do this and get it right this time. So anyway, so I just put my most used cards in the front along with some cash, some notes. I do use a Gillio coin purse, so I didn't really need to have, you know, a zipper pocket or anything like that for coins, which has always been something that I've preferred, but this is working quite well. Now, the dashboard I've had for quite some time, many years in fact, and when I got this, I just dived into what I had as far as personal or medium size planner stash, and I came across this, really liked it, so it's sort of stayed there ever since. I have some of these sticky notes on the back of that dashboard, and these are printable stickers from Peanuts Planner Co. You can actually go to the website, or if you join the Facebook group, there is a freebie that you can get, which is what I've done. So I really like the fact that I can print these out when I want, and I like the fact that they're functional as well, because that sort of suits me quite well. So then we go to the first section, which is essentially my calendar. All these inserts are from Peanuts Planner Co., so I'll link that below. At first I have this overview of the year, so 6 months on this side, 6 months on the other, and really it's just a reference guide for annual leave, sick leave, public holidays, birthdays, and 2 states of school holidays, because no 2 states ever have the same school holidays, which really annoys me. Neither do they have the same public holidays, I must admit. That takes a bit of getting used to when you move states. But anyway, after many years in this state, I still can't get it right, so I need to have it listed. But it's also helpful, you know, for a couple of other, I'm going to try not to ramble. Okay, the yearly overview is something that I prefer rather than, you know, pulling this out. So then I go to my monthlies, and this is this design that I quite like the most. I did do a bit of a search. I tried a different brand, planner style, and it just didn't work for me. So I had to go back to the standard old arrangement like this, and it does work. Now, I do have my dashboards in the middle, so I'm going to have to do one for each month, and my apologies for the glare there. I am going to probably have to do one for each month, which I don't really mind, because I can use it as an opportunity to put a quote or an inspirational, you know, saying or something like that. So last month just gave me a bit of a chuckle. and it just made me smile. So I thought that was pretty good. This month I just, you know, decided on something different, but when I did it, it was before we were entered into stage 4 lockdown, so there's no way we will see the end of lockdown until the middle of September. So I'm really bugged about it. But anyway, so yeah, let's see. But this actually quite works because I just have my tab on the end, and when it's all closed up, I can just touch the tab and I'm straight to the month. So that works. And I've put in July through to December. These little stickers are ones that I had from when I went to Japan, and so I've got no idea where you would get them from, but I just think they're so cute, and I hadn't really had a use for them for a little while, and I've made a bit of a theme for this planner, so all of the dividers have some kind of animal, so yeah, which you'll see as we go through. So then we go into the weeklies. Now I did try these weeklies, which are free printables from Peanuts Planner Co, and it does actually work for a lot of people, but it didn't quite work for me. So I needed to go over to a more horizontal week, days in the week, and then a spot on the side for some to-dos. And I'm really liking this, so I've tried this for a couple of weeks now, and I think I'll stick with it. On the back, it was interesting because there were all these sections and I had no clue what I was going to do with them. Then I discovered that I could use this for exercises physio. So I write down here what I actually have to do, and this is the time that I actually do them. Then I'm just using this as a tracker. Look, it is huge, and when I initially looked at it, I thought, oh, I can't use that for tracking, but I decided to have a bit of fun and track things that I don't usually track. And while I'm not going to, you know, continue with all of them, I actually learned that there was a use in some of them, so I am going to continue with most. And then I did try to do meals at the top here, but that I'm not sure is going to continue, but we'll see how that goes. So I am actually really liking this, and yeah, it's working out quite well. So it's very late Sunday night. No, it's not. It's actually past midnight, so it's actually officially Monday, so I'm on to this one. But I'm determined to get this done. Okay, so then we go into the notes section. So this is the first of my dividers with animal theme, just on acetate. So I've just got some note paper there. Again, a free printable from Peanuts Planner Co. I just think they're so pretty. Anyway, so I've got some notes there. Then I have grocery guide, almost like a master grocery list, which is coming in quite handy at the moment, just to double check things in the pantry with online shopping and all that kind of stuff. So I've also got some meal up plans or meal ideas, things like that. Next section is my online orders. It's actually my finance section, but I don't like finance written on the side, so I've just got orders there. I know online orders requires dollars, so that's all my finance. So I've got a spending tracker in here, as well as this, which is probably one of the most inspirational things for me personally. I needed to list down all my annual subscriptions and monthly card debits. I have quite a few, and when it comes to the annual subscriptions, I realised last year I wanted to change my VPN, but silly me didn't sort of immediately go to see what, you know, when it was actually due and whether I could cancel it before that automatic payment actually came out. And the next minute I knew the whole year had come out again. So, and I realised I'd signed up for things that I didn't realise until I actually see it on my card, or, you know, I get an email to say that it's paid again, and I go, oops. So I decided to, you know, it's probably just me being really, me being you know, not on top of things. So anyway, I did that, and it's actually quite okay. My monthly debits, I don't really need to know because I know that they come out every month, but my work has just changed over to a new card system, and I have to change all of these direct debits onto a new card, and I've got some up here as well for the annual one. So this is going to make life a whole heap easier when I sit down to actually transfer those payments over. Okay, that's in sort of slightly the wrong spot, but I know it's there. The next section is goals, and I usually do this at the beginning of the year. This year's been a little different because I travelled in January, so I don't know, most jobs I think work this way. When you're going away for a month, you seem to have to do so much work prior to going that you're exhausted, and it kind of almost makes you not want to go because, you know, that's what happened. So I didn't have a lot of time in January to really work on these. They were very rushed, and that's about where they stayed, because by the time I got back, pretty much, you know, I was very busy. COVID hit, and then I got very, very, very ill in April, end of April, and I've been off work ever since. So I didn't really look at these at all until just recently, when I sort of had the time and thought, well, maybe, yeah, I can work on these for the latter half of the year. But it also occurred to me in previous years that I've done this, I've never really planned to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So I tended to write on the back here, how will these goals be achieved? Be proactive, plan to achieve. I discovered when I looked back over the past couple of years that my goals had sort of miraculously been achieved or not. So I wasn't proactive about planning to make sure that I did actually achieve them. So I realised that in January, but then everything sort of flew out the window. So I've actually really just come back to this now and decided, okay, what can I do for the latter half of the year, or for what's left of the year? I'm in lockdown and everything else, but I'm sure I can work on some of these things and make sure that they happen rather than just forget about it and start again next year. I don't want to waste any more time, so... Okay, my next section is tasks. I love the penguin. And look, this is my procrastination task list because I have been wanting to do some of these things for so long. I think they're just a part of my, oh, that'll get done one day kind of psyche. And I really don't want it to be quite that way. And what I've noticed is now that they're in here, I'm actually looking at them. They're sort of become the forefront of my mind rather than in the back of my mind. And I've actually discovered I've achieved one of these things completely. I can cross it off the list. And I'm well on the way to achieving a second one. So I feel really, really good about that. And the ironing is never going to be, well, maybe when I have a really big burst and get it all done, then I can cross it off. But I know that in 1 or 2 months it's all just back again. So, and then I tend to just wear other things that I don't have to iron. So maybe I'm just one of those crazy people, but I don't like unironed clothes. I know that sounds really odd, but anyway. But as I said, I'm really happy that I've achieved one of these things and well on the way to a second one. So yeah, it is in the forefront of my mind rather than in the back, and it kind of, I wouldn't say it motivates me, but it just puts it there. I also have a recurring task list, and I need to work on that because things like, you know, we have a hard rubbish collection. Well, that's no longer just once a year, it's now twice a year. So things like that. When am I changing my water filter? And I don't think I've had my heating ducts cleaned out in the last 2 years. So things like that need to be listed. And my next section is weight, which is just a strange one at the moment. With the reason I got very ill a few months ago, I lost a lot of weight very, very, very quickly, and it really played around with my insides, and so I'm not actually allowed to lose any more weight, which is really quite, yeah, it's quite such a change. I can put on weight, which I don't really want to, but I could do with a little bit of weight on, but yeah, I'm not allowed to lose any weight, so I have to do this for medical purposes, which is really odd. Anyway, then I have my projects, which some are on the procrastination list. You know, craft room reorganisation. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but, you know, it'll get done. So they're my project lists, which are just home ones. And then I have my last tab section, which is just fun stuff. What I've done here is I've just got some colouring pages. So I have this gorgeous little book, and I realised that the size was okay, that it could just be put in here. So if I'm going to my coffee shop or something like that, I can just pop in, you know, a set of pencils, and I can just, you know, play for a little while. So, and then just any quotes, and I've just done some drawing on top of that, but I want some inspirational quotes in here as well, so just so I can look at those from time to time. Lastly, it's not a tab section, but this is my medical. I have a sheet of information that is all the information that is possible to know about me, medically speaking. And my youngest daughter she calls herself a baby doctor. She's a surgical resident in one of the hospitals. And when she saw this last week, she was so impressed. And she said the amount of people that actually arrive in hospital that, you know, they're stressed, they're sick, they can't remember what they're taking, or their history, or their family doesn't know, and it really does create some issues. So my daughter said, "Mum, this is just fantastic. I wish everybody did something like this." So all I could say to her was, I get asked so many times about these things. I felt it was easier. So now when they say, "What medications are you on?" I just shove that in front of them, and I don't have to. There's no way that I can remember half of those things, to be perfectly honest. So then I just have some note paper here, and the inevitable photo gallery of my children and their partners, and my mum and my best friend, and a picture of Fenway Park, so that I can dream about attending an actual real game one day, which would make for a change. And my goddaughter, my daughters. Normally I keep my excess sticky notes here, but I've just shoved them over this last section, which is just a card insert with my least used cards, my driver's license, my Medicare, working with children, and ballet card, which is not really being used this year. Then in the pockets at the back, I just have some business cards, some coffee shop cards. They will get used at some point in time, and my public transport card. Now, the pen that I'm using at the moment, I'm probably not going to be using for too much longer. I do like this, but on this particular paper, it's just a little too dark and too thick. That's more the problem. It's just too thick, and I prefer something a little finer. So this is a Gillio pen with a Monteverde gel refill. I'd really prefer something with a fine tip rather than a thick one like this one does. I do like this, but it's probably not going to remain my pen of choice. So I probably will go back to my Pentel needle tip 0.5. That does work quite okay on this paper. I'm not sure how highlighters are going to go over this yet either. So the other one that I'd really like is this. I did buy this Caran d'Ache 849. It's a classic pen. I just didn't like the insert, and stupid me, or silly me, just didn't order the fine black refill. I did try there was another one that's actually in it, but it's not quite not quite good enough. A bullograph, I think, is in it at the moment. But anyway, I am still fiddling with this, and just we'll see. I mean, for the moment, I will continue to use this, but in all likelihood, that is what I'm going to actually be using in my Gillio. Now, in the back is probably what everybody else uses the back pocket for. It's just half A4 sheets of paper that are folded in half, that are usually blood tests or medical things, receipts, things like that. So there you have it. And it's really quite compact. It's lightweight. I really, really love it. And I will continue with this for quite some time, I think. I'm also really enjoying discovering more about me and the things that sort of engage me, rather than, you know, the whole work stuff getting in the road. And yeah, so that is my Gillio Slim Compagna in Croco Rosewood. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.